My name is Evelyn Marie Harper, and if there's one lesson this old Georgia heart has learned the hard way, it's that blood don't always mean loyalty. Sometimes it just means another person who knows exactly where your soft spots are. This story ain't short, y'all. It's long, it's raw, it's full of the kind of details that make you feel the humidity on your skin and hear the creak of those old oak floors. It's about a house, a son, a daughter-in-law, and the moment a 67-year-old widow decided she wasn't going to be erased. So settle in, grab a blanket, pour yourself something warm, maybe a glass of sweet tea or a mug of cocoa by, 'cause we're going deep. This happened right here in suburban Atlanta, and the final chapter is still being written on this Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2025. Hit that like button if you're ready for the full ride, subscribe if you want more real-life reckonings, and drop a comment telling me what city or state you're listening from. I want to know how far this tale has traveled. Let me start at the roots, because every Southern story worth telling begins with where the ground is firm. I was born, Evelyn Marie Callahan, on a rainy April morning in 1958. In a little clapboard house off Campbellton Road in East Point, Georgia. My daddy, Thomas Callahan, worked the railroads for the Southern Railway Company. He'd come home every evening with soot on his face and stories in his pockets, dailies of far-off places like Birmingham and Charlotte, cities that seemed as distant as the moon to a little girl like me. Mama Louise was a seamstress who could turn a sack of flour into a Sunday dress. She worked from home, her Singer sewing machine humming like a lullaby through the hot Georgia afternoons. We weren't rich by any stretch. Dinner was often beans and cornbread, with collards from the backyard garden, if we were lucky, but we were proud. Daddy taught me to fish in the Chattahoochee River on weekends, casting lines at dawn when the mist still hung low over the water. I'd sit on the bank, legs dangling, watching the bobber dance, and he'd tell me about the importance of patience. Life's like fishing, Evie, he'd say. You cast your line, you wait, and sometimes you reel in a keeper, other times, it's just an old boot. But you keep casting. Those mornings are etched in my memory, the smell of river mud, the sound of cicadas starting their chorus, the feel of Daddy's rough hand on my shoulder. Our house was small, 2 bedrooms, a kitchen that doubled as a dining room, and a front porch where Mama would shell peas in the evenings. I shared a room with my younger brother, Billy, who was 3 years my junior. We'd lie awake at night, whispering stories under the quilts Mama had pieced together from old clothes. Billy dreamed of being a pilot. I wanted to be a teacher, inspired by Miss Johnson at East Point Elementary, who made learning feel like an adventure. Summers were endless, running barefoot through the neighborhood, playing kick the can with the kids next door, climbing the old oak tree in the backyard until Mama yelled for us to come down before we broke our necks. We didn't have much, but we had community. Church picnics at Grant Park, where the ladies would compete with their peach cobblers, and Daddy would play horseshoes with the men. Christmas meant a real tree cut from the woods, decorated with popcorn strings and tinfoil stars. One year, 1965 I think it was, Daddy surprised us with a bicycle secondhand, but shiny red after he painted it. Billy and I took turns riding it up and down the street, the wind whipping our hair, feeling like kings and queens of the world. School was my escape and my joy. I walked to East Point Elementary every morning, lunch pail in hand, usually a biscuit with jam or a peanut butter sandwich. Miss Johnson saw something in me, encouraged me to read beyond the primers. I devoured books from the school library. Nancy Drew mysteries, Little Women, The Secret Garden. By high school, at Tri-Cities High, I was top of my class, editor of the school paper, and dreaming of college. But money was tight. Daddy's railroad job paid the bills, but there was no college fund. I worked summers at the local diner, waiting tables for tips, saving every dime. In 1976, I got a scholarship to Georgia State University Teacher Education Program. That's where I met Jack. But let's linger on those childhood days a bit longer, because they shaped who I am more than anything. I remember the first time I helped Mama in the garden. I was 5, maybe 6, kneeling in the dirt, planting tomato seeds. The sun was beating down, sweat trickling down my back, but Mama sang hymns as we worked. Amazing Grace, how great thou art. She taught me that hard work was its own reward, that beauty came from effort, that garden fed us through tough times. Cucumbers, squash, beans, I picked them fresh for supper, feeling proud as punch. Then there were the storms, Georgia thunderstorms that rolled in like angry gods, lightning cracking the sky, rain pounding the tin roof. Billy and I would huddle under the covers, scared but excited, while Daddy told ghost stories to distract us. One night, a tree branch crashed through the window, scared us half to death. Daddy fixed it the next day, teaching me how to hammer nails straight, measure twice, cut once. He'd say, holidays were magic. Thanksgiving meant Mama's turkey with giblet gravy, cornbread dressing, and cranberry sauce from a can. Fancy stuff for us. The whole family gathered: Aunt Ida, Uncle Joe, cousins running wild. Easter was egg hunts in the yard, dresses starched stiff, church services that lasted forever but ended with potluck, and birthdays. Mine in April meant a cake baked from scratch, chocolate with vanilla icing, and a new dress sewn by Mama. One year, she made me a pinafore with ruffles. I felt like a princess. Billy's birthday in July meant watermelon seed spitting contests and homemade ice cream churned by hand. Those simple joys, laughing till our sides hurt. The taste of cold melon on a hot day, they stick with you. There were hard times too. Daddy lost his job for a spell in 1963 when the railroad cut back. Mama took in more sewing. I helped by delivering finished dresses on my bike. We ate a lot of soup that winter, but we never went hungry. Neighbors helped. Mrs. Jenkins next door brought over casseroles. Mr. Hayes fixed our leaky roof for free. It taught me community, resilience. When Billy got polio at age 4, it was terrifying. He spent months in braces, but Mama nursed him back, and he walked again. I read to him every day, stories of adventure to keep his spirits up. Those trials built my backbone. I also remember my first taste of independence. At 10, I started a little business selling lemonade on hot summer days. Set up a stand at the end of the driveway, with a sign I painted myself. Fresh lemonade, 5 cents. Neighbors stopped by, chatting with Mama on the porch while I poured. I saved that money for school supplies, a new pencil case, crayons. It taught me the value of $1, something Derek never seemed to grasp. And music. Daddy played the harmonica on the porch after supper. He'd blow tunes like Oh Susanna and Red River Valley, and we'd sing along, voices carrying into the twilight. Those evenings were pure peace. As I grew older, into my teens, childhood faded but the lessons lingered. High school brought first crushes, dances at the gym with crepe paper decorations, studying late under the kitchen light while Mama mended socks. I volunteered at the library, shelving books, dreaming of my own classroom. Those memories, bittersweet, now remind me of a time when family meant support, not schemes. Jack Harper was in my freshman English class. Tall, quiet, with hands already calloused from working at his uncle's garage. He wasn't the flashy type, no football hero, but he had a steady kindness that drew me in. Our first date was a picnic by the Chattahoochee, just like those fishing trips with Daddy. He brought fried chicken from his mama's kitchen. I brought lemonade. We talked for hours about dreams, family, the future. He wanted to be a mechanic, build a life with his hands. I wanted to teach, shape young minds like Miss Johnson had shaped mine. We married in 1980 at First Baptist on Peachtree, the same church where my parents had said their vows. Mama made my dress simple white cotton with lace she saved for years. Daddy walked me down the aisle, tears in his eyes. Jack worked as a mechanic at the Ford dealership on Roswell Road for 35 years. I taught 3rd grade at Peachtree Elementary for 32. We bought this house on Oakwood Lane in April 1988, the year Derek was born. It was a classic ranch, white siding, red brick accents, wide front porch with rocking chairs, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a big eat-in kitchen, and a backyard that felt like our own little Eden. We planted azaleas that first spring: pink, lavender, white. Jack said they were Evelyn's babies until Derek came along with his chubby cheeks and that infectious laugh. Derek grew up in this house. First steps across the sun-warmed hardwood. Birthday parties with homemade chocolate cake and a slip-and slide in the backyard. Christmases with a tree so tall it scraped the ceiling fan. He was quarterback at North Fulton High. Led the team to the state semifinals his senior year. Full ride to the University of Georgia. Business degree in 2010. Met Lisa Whitaker at a tailgate party in Athens. She was stunning, sharp, from a well-to-do Savannah family. They married in 2013 at a plantation venue in Roswell. 300 guests, string quartet, peonies everywhere. I paid for the flowers and the rehearsal dinner. Cried through the whole ceremony. By 2019, when Jack had his heart attack in the garage while tinkering with his old Chevy, Derek and Lisa were already living large in Buckhead. A sleek 18th floor condo with skyline views, valet parking, rooftop pool. Derek was climbing fast at Technova Solutions cybersecurity sales. Lisa was a digital marketing consultant, always flying to conferences in New York or Miami. They had Buddy, a golden retriever who thought he was a lapdog. Our relationship stayed steady. Sunday brunches at the Flying Biscuit, holiday dinners at my place, me dog sitting when they traveled. But something shifted in late 2024. It started small, phone calls more frequent, but the tone changed. Derek, Mom, Atlanta real estate is on fire. Houses like yours are going for $500,000 easy. Have you thought about cashing out? I'd laugh it off. Honey, I'm not ready to leave my garden. Lisa during visits. Evelyn, this place is so cozy, but those original floors must be a pain to refinish. And that furnace view, your power bill must be brutal. She'd wander rooms with her phone out, snapping pictures for inspiration. I started feeling like a museum exhibit. By spring 2025, the visits increased. Unannounced drop-ins with coffee and just checking on you. Derek, poking around the attic, asking about the deed. The mortgage paid off since 2005. My retirement accounts, just planning ahead, Mom. Lisa commenting on every outdated detail. The Formica counters, the 1980s light fixtures, the basement stairs. What if you fall? Evelyn, you're 67 now. Willow Creek has elevators, activities, nurses 24/7s. They talked to me like I was already fading. I pushed back. I'm still doing Zumba 3 times a week, walking dogs at the shelter every Saturday, driving myself to bridge club. I'm fine. The late night texts began. Derek sending articles, elderly isolation, the silent killer, reverse mortgages explained, power of attorney, why you need one now. It felt less like concern and more like reconnaissance. Then came September 17, 2025, a sticky Wednesday with thunder rumbling in the distance. I was in the living room, sorting old Christmas ornaments, when Derek walked in without knocking, alone, face hard. Mom, sit down, we need to talk. He didn't wait for me to offer tea. I sold the house. Lisa and I got hammered. Crypto crashed. Stocks tanked. Loans piling up. We need the cash to stay afloat and finally take that Mediterranean cruise we've been planning for our 12th anniversary. Greece, Italy, yacht life, non-refundable deposit already down. Closing tomorrow. Pack what you can carry. We've reserved you a suite at Willow Creek. The room, tilted. I gripped the arm of Jack's recliner, the one with the worn leather from years of Sunday football. You sold my house. He nodded, calm as a summer pond. I handled it. You signed power of attorney last Christmas for emergencies. This is an emergency for your safety. Pure fabrication. But he was so sure, so smug. I forced my voice steady. Show me the Willow Creek brochure. He handed it over, looking relieved. Left thinking I'd crumble. I didn't. After his Escalade pulled away, I sat for 15 minutes, letting the shock wash through me like cold creek water. Then I moved. First, my iPad. Fulton County Property Records no sale filed. The Harper family, revocable trust, created 2019 on our estate lawyer's advice after Jack's diagnosis still had me as sole trustee. Derek was beneficiary only upon my death. He couldn't touch it without my signature. No sale, no transfer, nothing. Second, phone calls to Mr. Reynolds, our accountant. Since 1995, Evelyn, Derek's been calling about gifting you the house for tax purposes. Said you wanted to help with their cash flow. Lie. To Mike, Derek's co-worker who'd mowed our lawn as a teenager, Mrs. Harper. He's in deep, $220,000 in debt. Personal loans at 18%. Rated his 401k. Missed quotas 3 quarters running. Firms watching him close. Third, social media. Lisa's Instagram was a shrine to excess. Countdown posts. 35 days till Mediterranean magic. Photos of yacht brochures, infinity pools, sunset dinners. Deposit $38,000. Non-refundable. They'd booked it months ago, bragging to 4,000 followers. Now they needed my equity to make it real. Fourth, I called Elaine Thompson-Elder, law attorney, former prosecutor, Jack's old friend from Rotary. She answered on the second ring. Evelyn, what's wrong? I told her everything. She said, be at your house at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Bring coffee. We're going to war. Elaine arrived at 7:55, briefcase in one hand, thermos in the other. She listened for an hour without interrupting. Then, the trust is bulletproof. He can't sell squat without your signature as trustee. So either he's forged documents, or this is a bluff to scare you into signing over. Either way, felony territory. We mapped it out. When Derek texted at 11 a.m., movers arriving at noon. Be ready, Elaine grinned. Let them come. The yellow truck pulled up at 11:50. 2 guys in coveralls hopped out, clipboard in hand. Elaine met them on the porch. Phone recording. Gentlemen, I'm Evelyn Harper's legal counsel. Show me the work order. They handed it over. Paid by Derek Harper. Relocation to assisted living per family agreement. Elaine, no such agreement exists. Property is in trust. Derek has no authority. You've been hired under false pretenses. Bill him, they grumbled, loaded back up, and drove off. 5 minutes later, Derek's Escalade screeched in. Lisa in the passenger seat. Both faces red. Derek stormed the porch. Mom, what the hell? Who is this? Elaine stepped forward like a sheriff. Elaine Thompson, representing Evelyn Harper. Any further attempt to remove property from or claim ownership of this residence without written consent constitutes fraud and elder abuse. We have it documented. I stood behind her. I know about the debts. Derek, the crypto, the loans, the cruise. This ends today. Lisa's voice cracked. Evelyn, we're family. Derek, you're being paranoid. We're helping you. I looked my son in the eye. Helping yourself, maybe. They left, tires squealing. The next 3 months were a slow, grinding battle. We gathered evidence like soldiers collecting ammunition. Elaine subpoenaed financial records. My name was still on an old credit card from Derek's college days. Statements showed the truth. $220,000 in consumer debt, $45,000 in personal loans, $38,000 cruise deposit, luxury purchases Louis Vuitton for Lisa, courtside Hawks tickets, leased Porsche, security cameras went up, locks changed, credit frozen. The harassment came in waves. Lisa's emails, long, emotional, guilt-soaked. Evelyn, we're heartbroken. Think of the family we could have, grandchildren someday. Don't let a lawyer divide us. Derek's voicemail swung from pleading to angry. Mom, I messed up, but you owe me this house eventually anyway. Flowers arrived. Roses, my favorite with cards. I'm sorry. Let's talk. I photographed everything for the file. My quilting circle, Mabel, Sue, Gladys, Rita, Betty became my fortress. They met at my house every Thursday instead of the senior center. Brought casseroles, shared stories of their own family betrayals. Mabel, my nephew tried to get my deed when I was in the hospital. I lawyered up and he ran. Betty, you're not crazy, Evelyn. You're awake. They connected me to a financial abuse support group at the Methodist Church on Roswell Road. I went every Tuesday. Heard stories that mirrored mine. Sons draining accounts, daughters forging signatures. The facilitator said, you have every right to protect yourself even from family. Those words anchored me. Derek escalated in October. Showed up with Dr. Marcus Hale, a geriatric specialist. Mom, Dr. Hale is here to assess your living situation for your safety. I blocked the door. Phone recording. Hale, resistance to help is often a sign of cognitive decline. Lisa, we're trying to save you. Derek, this house is my inheritance anyway. Hoard it. I said, hoard. This is my home, not your bailout fund. I had the footage. Pure gold. November 12, 2025, Fulton County Courthouse. Conservatorship hearing. Derek petitioned to declare me incapacitated and at risk. The courtroom smelled of old paper and coffee. Derek's lawyer painted me as fragile, paranoid, isolated. Dr. Hale testified to delusional thinking. Derek took the stand, voice cracking. I love my mother. I'm protecting her. Then Elaine unleashed 3 hours of evidence. Medical records. My doctor called me exceptionally sharp. Bank statements. Every bill paid on time. Affidavits from friends, shelter staff, Zumba instructor, security footage of confrontations, financial docs proving motive, cruise bookings still active, just rescheduled, forgery attempts on fake power of attorney papers we'd uncovered. I testified last, voice steady. I garden, I volunteer. I walk dogs, I drive, I live independently. My son wants my money, not my safety. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Carla Reynolds, ruled in 10 minutes. Petition denied. Respondent to pay all fees and costs. Matter referred to District Attorney and Adult Protective Services. The dominoes fell fast. Derek was placed on administrative leave the next day. Technova fired him within a week. Can't have a sales exec with fraud allegations. Lisa's marketing agency quietly let her go after ethics whispers spread. Their Buckhead condo foreclosed in December. They moved to a 1-bedroom rental in Marietta. The cruise was forfeited, $38,000 gone. Bankruptcy filed December 15, 2025. A letter arrived last week, hand-delivered, no stamp. Derek's handwriting. Merry Christmas, Mom. We lost everything. House, jobs, friends, reputation. Lisa's parents won't speak to us. We're barely making rent. I know you think I deserve this. Maybe I do, but I never meant to hurt you. I was drowning. I'm sorry. I read it twice. Filed it with the rest of the evidence. Today is Christmas Eve, 2025. My house is lit up like a beacon. New kitchen granite counters, soft close cabinets, sunroom addition where I read in the mornings, fresh paint throughout. The azaleas are dormant but ready for spring. My quilting circle is coming for dinner tonight. We'll eat turkey, stuffing, sweet potato casserole, Mabel's bringing pecan pie, Betty's bringing her famous cornbread. I'm dating a widower named Frank. Retired engineer. Loves the Braves. We went to the Fox Theater last week. He never once asked about my finances. I founded the Harper Elder Protection Fund with part of my savings. Grants for legal aid to seniors facing family financial exploitation. We've already helped 3 families. Derek, a distant shadow. No reconciliation. Some wounds don't heal. Some trust doesn't regrow. This house, the one he tried to steal's mine. Every creak, every flower, every memory. I fought for it. I won. And I'm not done living yet. So that's the story, y'all. Long as a Georgia summer. What would you have done? Would you have forgiven? Fought harder? Softer? Comment below. Share your own stories. And if you're anywhere near Oakwood Lane tonight, drive by. Look for the house with the white porch swing and the Christmas lights. That's where a grandmother stood her ground. Merry Christmas. Stay strong. And never ever let anyone steal what's yours. Thinking back on those childhood memories now, as I sit here on Christmas Eve, they feel like a warm blanket against the chill of what my life became with Derek's betrayal. The innocence of those days, the simple joys, the lessons learned in the dirt and the rain, they gave me the strength to fight. Without that foundation, who knows if I'd have had the gumption to stand up to my own son. But that's the thing about roots, they run deep, and they hold you steady when the storms come. Every time I look at my garden, I see Mama's hands in the soil. Every time I fix something around the house, I hear Daddy's voice. Those memories aren't just past, they're my armor.